Welcome to Bedcrime Stories podcast. I'm your host, T, and I hope you're having a great day. Today, I want to share some new information in the Dylan Rounds case. First, we learned yesterday that the meeting between Box Elder Sheriff's Office and Dylan Rounds' parents, Mother Candace Cooley and Father Justin Rounds, did not go well. Dylan's father, Justin, posted an angry note yesterday afternoon about Box Elder refusing to step aside as lead investigators on his son's case. The words he used make it clear that he's fed up with Box Elder's lack of transparency, lack of communication, and lack of progress on the case. Both Candace and Justin want Box Elder to hand the complicated case over to another agency, but it sounds like stubborn Box Elder is refusing to do so. That is surprising because if we are to believe Candace and Justin, Box Elder has been doing a whole lot of nothing to investigate Dylan's disappearance. The only reasons that I can think of as to why Box Elder is insistent on remaining in charge of the investigation are their bruised ego and a need to somehow redeem themselves. There are tons of petitions circulating now to try and get signatures to try to force Box Elder to leave the case. The family is asking that any and all parties who see the ineptitude sign the petition. Another fascinating document was shared online yesterday. It is a compliance and request for reciprocal discovery form. Wow, that's a mouthful. That was filed by the prosecutor in Utah, who is considering, I'm assuming, charging Jim Brenner with a crime in Dylan Rounds' disappearance. We know that Utah named Brenner a suspect in the case. This form indicates that the state appears to be moving toward having a grand jury meet. The word discovery refers to a process that allows the defendant, in this case Jim Brenner, and his legal team to review and exchange evidence with the prosecutor. Discovery enables both the prosecutor and the defense to know before a trial begins what evidence may be presented. It's basically designed to prevent a trial by ambush, wherein either side is suddenly confronted in court with evidence and/or witnesses that they were unaware of. Both sides, the prosecution and the defense, are required to provide the following items to each other: lists of potential witnesses, specific information regarding expert witnesses, lists of tangible objects that could be used at trial, and lists of video, audio recordings, and written evidence that may be used in a trial. Neither side can use any documentation, video, or audio evidence or witnesses at trial unless those items and people have been previously disclosed to the other side. So, what this form is telling me is that the state of Utah is perhaps planning to call a grand jury to look at all the evidence the prosecution and defense have and determine whether or not criminal charges should be brought against chief suspect Jim Brenner in Dylan Rounds' disappearance. Before I share the items that were listed on the compliance and request for reciprocal discovery form, let me explain what reciprocal discovery means. We talked about discovery. Now let's talk about reciprocal discovery. Reciprocal discovery is a principle of criminal procedure that requires a defendant and the defendant's legal team to share information with the prosecution. Once reciprocal discovery is invoked by the prosecution, the defendant and his legal team must provide whatever the prosecutor lists on the form. So the leaked form, I'm assuming it's leaked, I don't know why else it would turn up on the internet, shows that one, both Jim Brenner and Don Hatley were interviewed multiple times, and both gave consent to take a polygraph, and both actually took one. We knew that Don Hatley took a polygraph, but this is the first that I'm learning that Jim Brenner consented to and took a polygraph. Brenner apparently had his polygraph on June 20th, so that means he was given the polygraph 4 days after his initial interview with law enforcement on June 16th, and about 2 weeks before his final interview with them on July 5th. The form also lists photographs that were taken of a rental property with a date of January 28th, 2022. Note that Dylan Round's name is listed next to this rental property photograph. B, a Walmart receipt and product. Note that the form does not state what the product was, but some people are speculating that Jim Brenner may have purchased a cell phone. The date of the receipt is April 9th of 2022, which is about 2 months before Dylan went missing. And C, still photos from a Walmart surveillance video dated for that same day, April 9th, 2022. The receipt and still photos from Walmart do not have a name listed next to them, but I'm guessing it would be Jim Brenner who went to Walmart and who purchased something on April 9th of 2022. Then there's a list of audio-visual items that the prosecution is requesting copies of. The items listed include video recordings of FBI interviews done with Jim Brenner and Don Hatley, as well as 2 other people, a guy named Kevin Bibbins, Bibbins like Bibbins, and a woman named Elaine Price. Bibbins was interviewed on June 30th, and Price was interviewed on July 12th. Note that the form also is asking for emails from Elaine Price, either to her or written by her. It doesn't specify. Kevin Bibbins, I found out, is a 69-year-old man who apparently owns property right off the road to the sun tunnels in Lucin, Utah. So that is the same remote area where Dylan Rounds had his farm. It's curious that Bibbins was interviewed in connection with the case. Because the prosecution is asking for the recorded interview that Bibbins had with law enforcement, I'm wondering if Bibbins is a witness who may have provided information supporting Jim Brenner in some way. Is Bibbins one of the witnesses who perhaps claimed to have seen vehicles coming out of the grain shed property around 3 p.m. on the Saturday when Dylan disappeared? Kurt Wadsworth's daughter, Taylina, mentioned 2 people who were near the sun tunnels on that Saturday, and she said that these people said that they saw 3 vehicles in Lucin that day. One was a 4-wheeler, one was a dually truck, and one was a truck pulling a trailer, from what I recall. I'm speculating here, but because Bibbins lives near the sun tunnels, or rather has property there, I don't know that he lives there, it would make sense that he was near the sun tunnels on that Saturday, and he could possibly be one of the people who witnessed those vehicles. Again, I'm speculating. When I was researching Kevin Bibbins, I noticed that his name came up in connection with a trial wherein he was convicted of 2 misdemeanors. 1, resisting a government employee or agent. 2, obstructing a license plate. The charges arose out of a traffic stop that apparently escalated into an altercation between Bibbins and 4 park rangers in the Lake Mead National Recreation Area in Nevada. Bibbins was stopped by these park rangers while he was driving a motorhome in the area. The motorhome was towing a pickup truck. The rangers stopped Bibbins to let him know that a garbage bag had slipped over the back edge of the truck and was obscuring its license plate. Bibbins replied to these rangers, and I quote, "You don't need to see my damn license plate. It's there," end quote. When the rangers dispatched Bibbins' driver's license information to the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, the rangers learned that Bibbins had an active felony warrant from Clark County, Nevada. They also noted that Bibbins' record included prior charges of assaulting officers and other violent conduct. Good Lord. Another violent criminal who had property near Dylan Round's farm. The rangers used a microphone at that point to instruct Bibbins to exit his vehicle and to walk toward them with his hands above his head. Bibbins apparently did not put his hands up. While walking toward the rangers, Bibbins announced that his leg was broken, and 3 of the rangers said later that they did see him limping. Bibbins said he had a walking boot to wear and crutches, and those items were in the mobile home, but the rangers would not allow him to retrieve those items. The rangers eventually tased Bibbins, causing him to fall to the ground, which actually sounds quite painful if he really did have a broken leg. Now, I'm not going to read the rest of the incident. I think what I've shared here gives everyone a good idea of the type of character that Kevin Bibbins is. So that's Kevin Bibbins. As for the female Elaine Price who was listed on the form, she's more of a mystery. Could she have been with Kevin Bibbins that day near the sun tunnels and perhaps also witnessed those 3 vehicles? Again, this is me totally speculating. I don't know that Kevin Bibbins is the witness, and I certainly don't know that Elaine Price is the witness. I've heard people ask if Elaine Price is a real estate agent, but I haven't been able to verify any of that. The only thing that maybe makes me think that she could be a real estate agent is that other item on the form, which is a video taken of a rental property associated with Dylan Rounds. That video is dated January 28th, 2022. So what property did Dylan rent in late January of 2022? I don't have the answer to that question, but I'm sure we will be talking about it soon, as in probably tomorrow. That's all for today on the Dylan Rounds case. Let's continue to hold out hope that Dylan will be found and that his family will get the answers that they deserve, and that whoever is responsible for his disappearance is held accountable and thrown in the slammer for the rest of his or her life. Until the next time on Bed Crime Stories, now please do me a favor and smash that like button.